Hello and welcome back to another Minion video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. This time today we finally got into Lord of Verminion. Yes, it took me a few years, but I finally found the effort to be bothered to touch it. Totally not going in there and win trading against a friend to get today's Minion then. Okay, so some of these wins, maybe 1 or 2% of them are probably legit, but the rest are me playing against my friends around and supporter of the channel. It takes a few hours to do this, even with the other person deliberately sucking at the minigame, but you can get your 50 wins needed eventually, and considering hardly anyone actually queues for the damn thing, it's going to be much easier to do it this way. There just isn't anybody queuing for it. You thought PvP queues were bad? Then you haven't tried anything yet until you've seen a Lord of Verminion queue times. I will let him get his 50 wins in return shortly so he can get his minion as well, but he thankfully did this for me during the week. Of course, this is something we wouldn't do in a tournament situation, and generally I do not condone win trading in general. It's a plague in PvP in general, but with Lord of Verminion, especially outside of tournament time, I don't really see the problem, personally. 50 wins then. And the fastest way I figured to do it is to summon tons of Kojin minions and 1 Yagiri minion per Arcana Stone. So I start with 3 Kojin in this PvP RP match and 1 Yagiri on B, then send them all forward when the match begins, summon 1 Yagiri and a few Kojin over at the E base, and then a Yagiri and the last amount of Kojin at C. Basically, by the time the minions are attacking C and finally get summoned, A and B will be close to destruction, so simply move those across as they get destroyed and boom. It should take about 1 minute 40 here and there. In my recording here it was 1 minute 34 seconds. I got a bit lucky. But just under 2 minutes per victory if your friend just idles around is not too bad. Bear in mind the other person that's deliberately losing will need to actually order their minions around and summon them, as we found that if you just AFK'd losses a few times in a row, the game got wise to it and actually gave us a penalty of 30 minutes. So just move them around and you'll have the achievement in no time. And there we go, 50 wins done. The Lord of Verminion 2 achievement complete. Now we simply head to Jonathas in Old Gridania and exchange for our minion. So the minion then in question is Shallow Eye. It currently has, if you believe it, a 1.7% rarity in the world according to the FFXIV collect.com register, which makes it one of the rarest minions attainable in the actual game. All because, honestly, Lord of Verminion is not something that the majority of the community likes to take part in, let alone wants to play with other players. Regardless of your own interest in Lord of Verminion, if you are a collector, eventually you will realize that the time is there to actually do Lord of Verminion, and as much as it might feel like complete pain, once it's done you can never touch it again. Unless, of course, you want the tournament minion, in which case, good luck with that. So let's read this thing's text then. Summon your Shallow Eye minion. Please refrain from staring. While most scholars of the Void place Deep Eyes on the 12th and final rung of Voidsent hierarchy, it has been documented that the stronger the creature the Deep Eye possesses upon playing crossover, the more power the specimen may exert while within our realm. The hidden text reads, "They're perfect for scrubbing the soot from this statue," a quote there of Theamont. This minion obviously has an idle animation, and that's where it will simply flop over to a side. So with the Mama Tier pet collection title on your character, you can also trigger a couple of extra emotes, such as a handover emote will get it to feed from your hand, and also if you've got the Mama Tier title on, you can do /beckon whilst targeting the minion, and it will crawl up the side of your leg and all the way up to your shoulder and will sit there precariously. So if you want this horrible looking eyeball creature on your shoulder, then you totally can do that. It's not the best looking minion by any regard, nor the coolest there is that you can get in the game, but being from Lord of Verminion does certainly make it just frankly irritating to get normally, hence its rarity. It's one for the collector and certainly not something that I think everybody will want to go and do, but it is something to consider if you want to collect as many of these minions as possible. Thank you all kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time. I really cannot stand Lord of Verminion. Why it couldn't have been a Pokemon sort of battle arena system instead, I have no idea.